Hey there, Nopenguin here, and I am back. And penguins are in a bit of a weird spot right now. With Baronne banned and Prosperity limited, penguins are feeling a wee bit under the weather. That's why today we are going to be combining it with the Fiendsmith engine. And in other news, I can move now, which means I am ever so closely to escaping this 2D prison. I will get out one day, and I will bring with me the Penguin Revolution! But until then, let me show you the power of Fiendsmith Penguins. And here is the list. Yes, this is my Fiendsmith Penguin list for the November 2024 format. And honestly, this deck is really cool. We ended up losing quite a bit since our last Penguin video, and luckily for us, the Fiendsmith engine is so malleable and so easy to fit into here, but also, the Penguin side actually helps get into the Fiendsmith line. And the Fiendsmith line actually gives us more uses for our extra Penguin material. But I'm sure you're well acquainted with Fiendsmith at this point, so let us just get into the card by card. Starting off, we have the Penguin 13. That's right, today we are going with Triple Gep, 3 Squire, 2 Glacial Polar Penguin, 1 Me, 1 Ninja, and 2 Penguin Soldier. Now we are using this because we are actually playing Totally Awesome. Some of you will remember when I actually used this in a lot of my Penguin builds, but kind of moved off it as we had a lot more options to go into in the extra deck. But nowadays, honestly, I think it's time for it to make its return. And of course also the 1 Beauty Penguin. And for the Fiendsmith line, we have Triple Fiendsmith, 1 Lacrima, and the Lurie. Also, as our target off of Ib, we have Lee, the World Shallow's Fairy. This is here because in this deck we don't really need it to be any specific level, and Lee's effect to pitch a monster from the hand or field to the graveyard to recur it is pretty good in the deck, honestly. Sometimes you find yourself with a card stranded in hand that you'd rather be in the graveyard, and Lee is just a good way to make that happen. Onto the spells, we have Triple Royal Penguin Gardens, Triple Fiendsmith Tract, Double Talents, and 1 Called by the Grave, the Lonely Pot of Prosperity, and the Succession. Also, we're playing 1 Azarune for the Silhouette, and for the hand traps, we are playing Triple Maxi, Triple Anti-Maxi, and Infinite Impermanence. The extra, we are actually playing a very minimal Synchro line, only Dragite, Brave, and the Ib, of course, because we are really focusing on the links. Speaking of, we have Zeolantis, IP, Coral Anemone, Silhouette, SP, and the Fiendsmith package of Closed Sky, Sequita, Requiem, Desiree, and of course the Necroquip. Finishing off, we have 2 Xyz, Wave High King, and Totally Awesome. This deck is really awesome, and I think we should just go right into replay so I can show you exactly how. Our first replay is up against Tempai. Of course, I get to go first, but luckily they have not drawn the Shifter. Now, my hand actually is pretty good, despite the fact that we have 2 Polar Penguins, as we aren't doing that much Synchro Summoning in this deck right now. So we're just going to be doing the regular Fiendsmith combo. We're going to go ahead and equip the Requiem, get into the Necroquip, Fiendsmith's going to special summon itself out, and we're going to get into the DDD Wave King. Then we're going to grab the Squire, we are going to use the effect to get out the Gep. Gep effect, we're going to go ahead and grab Puny Penguin and our Penguin Ninja. Then we're going to flip the Puny Penguin will get Squire will flip up the Puny Penguin, become a 4. That way we can go ahead and synchro into the Ib, grabbing our Succession and our Gep from the graveyard. And from here we're going to go ahead and just go into Closed Sky. Lib's going to get E, then we're going to go ahead and go into Sequita. That way we can use Gep here, grab ourselves Nopenguin and the Penguin Squire, go into Dragite. Succession will grab the Gep back one more time, and because Nopenguin's in the graveyard, we're going to get an additional layer of this material, go into 2 Penguin Soldiers, go into Totally Awesome. At this point we're Sequita, so we actually have space on board. Go into the Desiree, go into the Silhouette will set, Desiree will go ahead and equip the Sequita here from the graveyard, and this board is insane. Actually a little bit away here, they'll try to go for the Raigeki, I will negate that. They're going to activate Summoning. I'm going to try to do this so we can still have to destroy it during the base. They chain a card, we negate that. We'll go ahead and summon our trap monster. Silhouette will destroy it before they get the search. They're just going to go to Fadra, try to summon the Chandra. I will stop them from doing that, and they are out of cards and they will concede. And the really crazy part is we still have yet to use... And the really crazy part is on this field, we still have the Totally Awesome, the Negate from Desiree, and the Azrune. So this is a lot of interaction left on the board that they still weren't able to chew through. This deck can go hard. But let's get into that next replay. Now, what happens if we don't go first? This time we are going to be playing against Dinomorphia, and they are going to do the classic combo of set 4 pass. I get to go here, and the hand's not looking great, but with the Fiendsmith in hand, I can go ahead and actually get this Lori out of the graveyard. Lori just special summon itself to go into the Requiem. Requiem to go ahead and grab ourselves our Lacrima. Lacrima is going to go ahead and pitch another Fiendsmith. We are going to equip the Requiem to it to go into the Mech-Whip. We're going to go and grab the Fiendsmith back. At this point, they tried to Magnum Up, but they hit the wrong one. Unfortunate for them, but they have more than enough to be able to contest the rest of my board. They're going to go for the Fusion Summon. I'm going to use the effect to draw because I discarded the Ash. They'll go for a second Fusion Summon. Things are not looking that good for me. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do the Wave King. We're going to try to get our Gep out. Gep's going to summon itself here, and unfortunately we're going to walk into an effect negation. Now I thought I could just do a little bit of damage here, but I did not read the card, so I walked right into lethal. From here, I just end my turn, and they have more than enough just to go into battle and end game. Remember, kids, if you do not read your cards, this is what's going to happen to you. Our final replay is up against Whitewood's Azamina. They get to go first, and I am going to be able to Ash this. Unfortunately, they already have the Diabell Star in hand, so they're going to be able to grab a Sinful Spoils here from the deck, activate it right here. That way, they're going to be able to send the Diabell Star for another card. Then they're going to go ahead and actually get out the Negate Azamina here. They're going to return this to the hand. That way, they can discard a card, go ahead and special summon it out, draw a card, play it, go ahead and add another card. That way, they can use the Synchro Summon here to pitch that and grab the spell. Then the trap is going to be able to reset itself back here. They're going to be able to summon this back to the hand. Rushi will activate her effect and be able to grab a card from the top of the deck, which is of course Nib. Things are not looking that great for us right now. I can Infib just to try to bait out one of their points of interaction. Luckily I do get this one, as when I go for the Lacrima, they'll try to negate that, but this does not destroy the card, so I can continue with Requiem. And because I drew the succession, I can bring that to Lacrima, Requiem into Fiendsmith, and we can go right into Sequita. They actually nib here, which is a little unfortunate, but not terrible, because I actually haven't used the Fiendsmith line yet. They're going to use Woes, they're going to activate the Chain in the graveyard to be able to get a level 6 Synchro out here. They're going to special summon up to Silvera. Silvera's going to flip everything, but did I see her flip? Penguin Squire will come to the rescue. Flipping back up my Fiendsmith, going into Sequita. Sequita's going to go ahead and special summon out who else but the Desiree. From here, we're going to use SP Little Knight to banish the nib I really can't get over. We're going to equip this and go into battle. We're going to beat over their board, and things are looking really good. They draw for turn, they get a spell, which is pretty fortunate for them. That way, they get a special summon Azet, go ahead and add a card. Asteria will special summon herself from the graveyard. Hallowed Azima will go ahead and add itself back to the hand. And from here, they're just going to shuffle back a bunch of their synchros, go into a synchro play. SP Little Knight, I'm just going to get this tuner off of their field here. I do not want to see them have that. They're going to add the effect Veiler. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and use the Desiree's effect to negate everything on the field. They're going to go into Coral Dragon for some reason, and I don't know why they didn't decide to just get rid of this. I guess they want to draw, and off the top, they actually get a pretty good trap. So, next turn, they get their monster back, and things are looking up really good. I go ahead and try to weed-equip this just so we get Desiree's effect back online. They'll bring back the Azimina, they'll activate its effect. I'll negate it with my Desiree, negating their entire field, and because they used an effect, I can use triple tax to go ahead and steal that. Tribute it with Gep, use it, and unfortunately, they will concede. But as you can see, the Penguins are helping. And that was the deck. I am really enjoying the way this deck is right now. Honestly, it is doing a lot better than I really thought it should, though I will mention a few downsides. With us playing a slightly bigger Penguin package, there are a lot more times where we actually draw the Penguins where we really don't want to. As you saw, Polar Penguin, it's not that big of a deal, but of course Ninja and Puny are still pretty much hard garnets for the deck, so it's not great if we ever draw any of those. And on that note, the consistency is a little iffy, because while the Fiendsmith and the Penguin lines can both play independently, I think they work best when I have a combination of both in my hand. Luckily for us, the Fiendsmith line is very malleable, and I literally just need to draw any of the cards to be able to do so. The Penguin line, of course, not as much. You need a bit more setup in hand to be able to let that go off, but as you can see, even if it's just random spare cards in hand, they do have their corner cases where I can use them for tribute fodder and or returning our cards back to face-up position. All in all, I am so happy with how this deck has turned out, and I really hope you enjoyed. So as always, like if you like, subscribe if you want to see more. I am Nopenguin, Fiendsmith Fanatic, signing out.